Good morning, friends. Welcome to Coffee Break with Dr. Michele Alignay. Welcome to this episode that is continuing the other episode that we had the other day, that is coping skills. So, good morning. Get your coffee and let's chat over good conversations, realizations, and resolutions regarding family life, regarding faith, and our well-being. So, our topic is coping for this week is coping skill. So, this is streaming on Facebook Live, Spotify, and YouTube. And I hope that you can learn something, you can pick up something, you can share this to your family and friends because we all need to learn how can we thrive in this difficulty amidst crisis and whatever life can bring us. So good morning, everybody. Um, Good morning to everyone who are here. So I see some friends very early. I would like to ask you, kumusta kayo ngayong Thursday morning? Maiksi lang ang work week natin. So how are you doing? How are you with your work? How are you with your life? What are your big learnings the other day? Right, the other day we talk about coping skills. One of which is um, using helpful thinking. The other is taking things one at a time. And the other one is managing our time. So, how are you with it? What works for you? I would like to ask you, what works for you? What skills? Not what skills? What coping skills works well for you? So, among the three, which one is very relevant for you? Is it using helpful thinking, one at a time, or managing time? Because this morning, I'm going to continue the discussion regarding coping. But first, let's go back. Why do we need to cope well? As I always share to many of us, uh, I would like to share with many of us that problems are not the problem, coping is a problem, right? Kasi alam nyo, problema naman talaga laging darating. There will always be occasions that we will be disappointed. There will always be time that life would not be fair to us. There will always be chances that even the persons that we love would disappoint us. And there are surprises in life. We see that a lot of things are happening already and then suddenly, oh wow, bakit biglang nangyari yon? So, with these three that I shared with you, one at a time, helpful thinking, and the other one, it's, what they call that? Sorry, ako yung nawala. One at a time, helpful thinking, and managing time. Which one works? And I like seeing your comments. Uh, I like seeing that there's something that is what do you call that, applicable for everyone. So this morning I would like us to continue with the psycho-emotional aspects. Most of the three, it's about mental or intellectual aspect. But when we say intellectual, hindi yan nasa-stuck lang with the intellectual aspects. It transpose. Ibig ko sabihin, if you look at it, it actually transposes and affects the other areas of our life. It was said that our thoughts become our world. And what is there in our thoughts? It becomes our destiny. Sabi nga, be careful with your thoughts. They become your words. Be careful with your words. They become your actions. Be careful with your action. They become your habits. Be careful with your habits. They become your destiny. That is why it's very critical for us to think about how we're coping. And this morning, I'm going to share with you psycho-emotional aspects of coping. Three, hopefully we have time so I can add to it. Alam nyo, posible if you are a follower of Coffee Break, narinig nyo na sa akin yung ibang aspeto. But I would like to share still with you and how we can continuously use that. Kahit na I think narinig nyo na sa akin dati. May iba na naman nangyari sa buhay natin the past month. So, iba na naman yung ating way of coping, iba na naman yung ating challenge, at iba na naman yung pwede nating ma-pick up at mai-apply. So, please join me. I would like to ask you now, what is the most pressing right now, iba yung Tuesday ngayon, what is that most pressing concern that you are dealing with now? Can you just share that? Friends, can you share that in the comment section? What is that most pressing concern that you need to deal with or you need to cope with now? Right now, ano yung meron ka na kailangan talagang i-cope mo? Parang kasama na diyan yung weather na minsan uulan, minsan araw. What do we need to cope from? Okay? So, uh, the first thing that I would like to share with you, I think you've heard this many times. I even have one Facebook Live or episode, coffee break episode about boundaries. Do you know that setting the right boundaries, it's actually a coping skill. But when I say boundary, it's about what is inside us and what is outside us. Ano yung kontrolado natin and know your space. We have to get to know our space. So see, I'm seeing here in my comment section, homeschooling, changes at work, distance learning for my kids, multitasking, all concerns around me. Go back to our first episode. Um, so let's look at it that way. One mindset is that one secret to well-being is knowing, identifying what is in our control and what is beyond our control. I it's always a thing that we have to continuously go back to. Remember, if you are to write in a paper, if you have a paper that is plain paper, okay, a plain paper, and we're going to put this is like I just thought of this right now. Okay. Okay. If you have this kind of paper, so it's like Japan flag. So what is inside you? This is what is what we are in control of. The rest of that, that's the world. That's the post in social media. That's our political system. That is the attitude of your son, the reaction of your daughter, yung ayaw mo sa asawa mo, yung mga naiinis ka sa pamilya mo, yung hindi mo makontrol na pagdami ng mga cases. That's all beyond us. So how do we cope during this pandemic season? How do we cope in this crisis? One thing is that we have to start identifying which one here is in my control. Many of us are overwhelmed, are getting, too much of everything simply because we are trying to control the uncontrollable. For example, this is something that parents are saying na, paano kung hindi makasagot yung anak ko? Paano kung humina yung internet connection? That is so beyond our control. We can just do our best to the measures that we are prepared, the measure na napa-upgrade mo ba yung system mo? Baka naman pang dalawang gadget lang yung connection nyo, tapos 10 kayo nakakabit, di ba? So we've done our part on what is within our control and the rest, we leave it to God. Yun yung identifying what is in our control and what is beyond it. The problems happen, that's why we have a difficulty coping, is that we are trying to control the ones in the white. But in reality, we are in control of this. And do you know that this is big enough? Many times people do not want to acknowledge their boundary, do not want to acknowledge what they are in control of. Do you know why? Ask me why. Why do you think people don't want to deal with what is in their control? You know why? Because sometimes there are occasions that when we start looking inside and the things beyond within our control, we just might be confronted that, oh my God, it's me who needs to change. Oh my God, this attitude, it's no longer helpful. Yung thinking pattern ko, it's an unhelpful thinking pattern. Hinihingi pala ng pagkakataon na ako'y magbago. Hindi magbabago, but how am I reacting with it? That's the one that I'm telling you. That's boundary. So you have to acknowledge what's your limit and what is the limitless. God is the limitless and we are limited. I like that. That's one of the themes of Kirigma conference 2 years ago. We are limited, but God is limitless. So we have to acknowledge na ito yung kaya ko. Sa kapasidad natin, in my capacity, in my power, I will do what I can within my control. And the rest, we cannot do anything about it. Can I do anything about this? These are the questions that you need to reflect with. Can I do anything about the situation? it is within our control or outside me. Alam niyo, naging chant ko na yan in many aspect. It's like, is this in my control or is this outside my control? Is it within me or outside me? Madalas parang may isang bagay na, pag may isang bagay na kailangang harapin. So, do I change the situation or do I change myself? That is the critical part. Yan yung mahirap sagutin. Do I change the situation or do I change my reaction? That is something that we can reflect on. In looking at boundaries, is it the situation that needs needs changing or is it our reaction to the situation? So boundaries, choose what is in your control, let go of what is beyond you. And when we are in that situation, always check, do I change me or can I change the outside? Do I change the situation or do I change my reaction? Put your energy to what you can do. Kaya tayo napapagod. Sorry moms, I have to tell you this. Kaya tayo na-overwhelmed kasi iniisip nyo tayong teacher. Honestly, we are not the teacher. We are the supporter of our kids. Unless you are homeschooling, you are the teacher. But if you are enrolled in a school, you are not the teacher. You are the supporter of your child. You are not directly the one explaining everything because your child should have learned that in the classroom or in their online classes through their books. You will only help facilitate your child's learning, but you don't directly teach them the way a teacher does. We are teachers of life for our children, not necessarily all the time the ones who would do the role as a teacher. Kaya tayo napapagod, gusto natin saklawan, gusto natin kontrolin lahat, pati reaction ng ibang tao. Pero friends, you have to check, is it worth the energy? We have to acknowledge where are the areas we don't have influence and where are the areas that we need to step back so we can concentrate on what we can change. And that is it our situation or is it our reaction? You be the judge. So that's the first one. The first one, as I said, that's a boundary setting. The second one, this is critical. Feel as you do. Feel your feelings. Many times, I think I have an episode in Coffee Break regarding emotions. So, how are you feeling today? Can you put that in your comment section, friend? How are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? Kumusta ang pakiramdam mo? Anong nararamdam mo? Ako, I think I'm not very comfortable. I don't know. The weather is so bad. I hope the weather is so bad. And also, I think I am breaking through yung ang dami ko pang mga bagay na dapat na I need to do, and then I'm breaking through kasi I came from a rest tapos nagtrabaho ulit ako ng sobra, tapos alam niyo yun, so I'm just taking my pace today, so maybe I feel hopeful today because I have more breakthroughs today than yesterday I just gave into rest. But how are you feeling? It's important for us to acknowledge how we're feeling. And we have to always give ourselves permission to do so. You know, feelings always point us to a need. Can you say that with me? Feelings point us to a need. So we have to feel as we do. The feelings, ang nagiging problem natin is that when we feel, we judge ourselves. Even other people, bakit ka naman nainis? Hindi mo kailangan mainis. Yesterday, my son, we had a conversation with my kids, and we actually identified two to three feelings that we have each. So, si husband, ako, and then the two kids. One feeling that my son has is he feels rejected. He told me something, and then medyo nabara ko siya, and he feels rejected. Even though I am the mom, I cannot blame him because that's his feeling. I have to just tell him, I'm sorry, anak, if you feel that way. But that's not mom's intention. I don't want to defend and I don't want to tell him, huwag kang ma-reject, hindi kita nire-reject. But that's his feeling. And I told him, I'm respecting it and I like it that you told me. that you feel rejected. So I know better next time when we move forward. So what I mean here is that feeling point me to a need. So maybe my son's need is for me to listen further so that in acknowledging our feelings, it's surfacing the need. Sometimes we don't want to feel our feeling because our need might be, sabihin natin makamundo, sabihin natin mababaw, but maybe that's very humanly needs. You know, if you acknowledge your emotions and you surface them and you try to manage it, that's the mark of a very mature person. EQ is a mark. Having high emotional quotient, that's a mark of a very good, not a very good person, a person who can cope. I, for one, di na ko lalayo. I went through so many feelings this past few weeks. Sobrang dami kong upheaval. I went through a personal concern. And then, just this morning, pag open ko ng messenger, ng Viber ko, one of my mentors told me, parang, you seem to be okay. I saw your video, ganyan. You seem to be okay. Sabi ko, yes, miss. Because, and I realized that's how am I. If you know me, I don't hide my feelings. I acknowledge my feeling. Kaya pag tinanong niya ako, kumusta ka ngayon, sabihin ko sa inyo, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not gonna fake it till I make it. Why? Kasi mas madaling mag-move on. Madali kong tinanggap, madali tayong maging aware na ito yung nararamdaman natin and to check ourselves, why am I feeling this way? Saan galing tong hugot na to? Saan galing yung emosyon? The moment that we start acknowledging and naming that feeling and acknowledging the root of that emotion, it's easy for me personally because it will be very easy for us also to see, oh, yun pala yung naramdaman ko. So maybe a day or two we can be sad, we can feel this way to, you know, to stay on the emotion, but we don't get stuck there. Ang emosyon pinagdadaanan, ang emosyon ay hindi tinatambayan, but we don't get stuck feeling frustrated because we move on. Will there always be frustration? Yes. Mafo-frustrate pa rin tayo? Yes, darating at darating yan. But the key is that we keep refreshing ourselves. We keep retooling ourselves based on the emotion. Can you put there retool? Emotions always helps us to retool ourselves. Emotions always helps us to grow. Emotions always point us to a need for relationship to be better, a need for us to be heard, a need for us to rest, our need for us to acknowledge our needs. What is important is not always the feeling of being happy. Hindi importante na laging masaya. Ang importante is that we are mature to handle the emotions, because if we are always happy and you're gonna tell me, I'm okay, it's called toxic positivity. Meaning, wala ka na ibang emosyon, masaya lang. There's so much, maybe 100 or more emotions, varying in degrees. I'm not saying na magpadala sa emosyon. Emotion should not, should not make us get us carried away. But we should make emotions our friend. That's a tool for better living. So that when we get to know our emotion, we have the right what we call appropriate emotional response. Meaning, eto yung nangyari sa'yo, may crisis situation ka. Na-frustrate ka ba? Nainis ka ba? Na-depress ka ba? Nalungkot ka ba? Umiyak ka ba? That's the appropriate emotional response kasi there's a crisis event. Pero kung sasabihin mo, may crisis event ka, anong kumusta ka? Okay lang. Araw-araw, okay ka lang. O kaya, hindi, masaya pa rin. Okay lang yun. Because maybe it's not toxic positivity. It's like putting a band-aid. We just want good vibes. We just want good feelings. But we don't actually address the emotion. We don't actually address the need underlying the emotion. We did not acknowledge, are we afraid? Are we anxious? Wala tayong inamin sa sarili natin. Sinalpakan mo lang ng something feel good. Maybe add to cart, maybe, you know, your favorite Netflix, maybe a series, feel good series, or maybe a food that, you know, you just try to substantiate it, but not necessarily address it. So friends, make emotions your friend. Aim not for being too happy, but aim for appropriate emotional response. Kasi bawat pangyayari sa buhay may kaakibat na emosyon. Bawat impact sa atin of what happens, it's there's a reaction and there's a response to it. There's an emotional response to it. So that's the second. First, boundaries. Second, feelings. The third one, which is I think critical, same with emotions, is that check your energy. I love saying this. Check your energy. Tingnan mo, saan napunta yung emotion mo? Where did your energy going? If you get upset about something, do you spend the day just trying to be upset and fretting na, bakit mo nagawa yun? Bakit hindi mo sinabi sa akin? You know, just keep blaming the past. Or just keep prodding, bakit nangyari, bakit nangyari? I just would like to share with you. When I was a young counselor, I know always that there's a reason behind every action. So, yan yung mindset ko. That's true. There's a reason behind every action. So, pag ang isang bata may ginawa siyang misbehavior, meron niyang reason. And always, when I was talking to big kids, always I would ask, what made you do that? But sometimes, you know, these big kids lack still insight. Minsan nga adults na lack insight pa. They cannot tell bakit ba nila nagawa. Some of them can, but some cannot. But would I spend one whole hour of counseling just waiting for them? Just waiting for them to understand themselves. What if inside that does not come now? So it's really a tricky thing. But when I become a mom, I realized that there are occasions that I have to choose where my energy is going. I get frustrated with a misbehavior, with unmet needs of my kids, and same way with the kids that I work with, even adults I work with. Checking our energy is not prodding too much. Kung hindi masagot yung tanong, why, what made you do that? What happened? Some people cannot immediately respond to reason. So why would I spend all my energy just saying and asking or waiting for them to respond kung bakit? Eh hindi nila nga alam at that moment. So another solution is that, okay, so this happened already. You are not aware what brought about it. Choosing our energy is choosing to move forward. So I'm not gonna spend all my time prodding, kalkal, at hinuhugot pa. Because maybe on some occasions it's needed, but on some occasions we just need to create solutions. Emergency na eh. Magsisisihan pa ba kung bakit nangyari yan? Wala na muna yan. Park na muna natin lahat yan. Ang dapat natin gawin ngayon, solusyonan. So what solutions can we put? 1, 2, 3. Diba? So, you know, it takes, this is good in theory, but it takes being a mother for me to be able to unlock that. And this is also, you don't spread, checking your energy is that we don't spread ourselves too thin. Napagod ka sa pag you know, sa pag-aalap. Okay, sabi natin, may kaaway ka, may nakipag-break sa'yo, or meron kang hindi magandang experience with a friend. Would you spend all your energy trying to ask people, ano ba sinabi niya sa'yo? Ano ba sinabi niya sa'yo? That's pointless. You're spending your energy on the wrong aspect of your life. Why not spend your energy moving forward? Why not spend your energy just feeling your feeling today and then doing something to take care of yourself? Diba? We cannot spend all our energy analyzing people. That's analysis paralysis by analysis paralysis. Yung ka-analyze mo, walang nangyari. You have to check your battles. Not all battles are worth fighting for. Don't spread yourself too thin. Another way to check your energy, would you just check your Facebook or social media all the time? Well, just, you know, naku, ang dami ng nangyayaring kaso, no? Ang dami ng ganito, no? Ano ba nangyayari sa Pilipinas? Well, did you spend your energy like that? I don't know with you, but that's why I choose also where my energy is going, because I need to have a lot of energy for myself. Right now, I want to be at the peak of my well-being. So I would rather spend my energy with myself and to choose my battles so that I can put it at the right places. So it's just not about energy. It's also checking the condition of our hearts and our spirit. Nasaan tayo doon? Kasi when we align the energy that we bring out to what our spirit and what our where our hearts is, and then our energy follow. One thing that we can check your energy, if our energy is going, is that you compromise perfection. I always love that. Remember my book, Family Goals, Embracing the Imperfections of Family Life. Friends, there will never be a perfect situation. Kahit na sabihin natin online learning ng kids natin, and that's not the perfect situation. The other day, my daughter started, and nakakatawa. Kahit na we run through it, ang dami niyang bloopers. Friends, I teach about how can parents help their kids in their online learning. In the first day of my child, nahila niya yung tablet niya because of her earphones. Tinawanan ko lang. Because I choose where my energy is going. Magagalit ba ako sa kanya? But I'm not gonna fret kasi she's grade 5. And she's her own person. I have to compromise perfection because at the end of the day, she's excited to go to school. She's excited to learn. And that is what mattered to me. And we're all safe at home. So, friends, what I'm telling you here is that we always have a choice. So we always choose where your energy goes. Are you going to let your energy ruin you? Get the most of you, get your negativity, get into your toxic patterns, or where you choose to move forward, will you choose to grow? Remember, this is exactly kaya yung connection sa boundary, when we know our boundaries well, we know that what is inside us, that's our boundary. And we can choose to put our energy to what is in our control. But when we fret too much outside, we fret on the people's attitude, characteristic na ibang tao, yung mga bagay na hindi natin makokontrol, and then we are just fretting, barking at the wrong tree. Yun. So we create opportunities based on what is in our control, and then we check our emotions through that. That's where yan yung connection. And then we check our energy, saan ba ito papunta? We compromise perfection. And friends, you know that we always have a choice. We have the power to do. But first thing, before we can do, we have the power to choose. Can you say that with me? I have the capacity, the power to choose. And what is your choice? You choose where your energy goes. Can you put that in the comment section? Choose where my energy goes. That is something that I love for you to reflect on. One way to really cope here in the pandemic. Wag nating patulan lahat. Wag nyong hindi lahat ng sinasabing, okay, to boost your immune system, you do this. To do this, not all opinions and suggestions of people, they're worth taking in. Not all what works for others is worth uh worth taking in because it might not be applicable for you. You have the power to choose. You cannot always say also, kasi ganito na ako dati eh. Ganito na ako dati. Friends, pre-pandemic na baka maiwan kayo sa pre-pandemic era. Friends, you have the power to choose. This pandemic is making us evolve. Alam nyo, ito lang yung sa tingin ko. You see me being positive. Yes, that's correct. But I would like you to tell you also that I'm going through my own battles. I'm going through my own concerns. Hindi ako nauubusan. But I choose where my energy is going. And I would like to be more life-giving. Kahit effort din sa akin yan. Because I am who I choose to become. I'm a product of my past, I'm a product of my parent, pero kung ano man mangyari sa akin ngayon, ako na yung may choice nun. Produkto na natin yung sarili natin. At kahit na life is not treating us well, kahit na we are in the middle of difficulty, wherever you may be, we have the capacity, we have that God-given capacity to choose, and we are also given the gift, the wisdom to choose. Today, let me just end this. Let me just end with the Bible reflection today. Today, the Bible, it's about the Bible, got the gospel. It's about Simon when Jesus told him to bring out the what do you call that, the net. Siya yung fisherman, siya yung tinuruan ni Jesus na karpintero, na you bring out the net. That's a risk. That's a risk. That's a risk to see that beyond our mindset, beyond our crisis. Ang crisis niya noon, wala siyang huling isda. But beyond our crisis, there is an opportunity at the other end. That's that's the capacity to choose. He can choose not to follow Jesus, but he chose to take the risk, choosing where your energy goes. It's also a risk. It's a risk to get to know yourself. It's a risk to get to know your inner potential. And it's a risk that, hey, there is an opportunity that I can be better. And I would find out how. I don't know if it's the perfect solution, but I can see it might work. And I can see I can be blessed and I can bless other people through it. That is hope. That is risk. And that is choosing what we can choose. But I have a bonus for you. There's a fourth one, and let's call it compassion. Ang hirap ng compassion ngayon, but we need compassion. It's the ability to recognize ourselves, our suffering, and the suffering of others. It's not being, we live in a world that it's no longer about being selfish, but it's about being compassionate. Na medyo, if you look at social media and the toxicity of the news, our system that is just there, the toxicity is limiting the compassion of the ones who are supposed to be compassionate. So friends, tayo mismo in our home, sa sarili natin, let's be compassionate. Desire to extend kindness sa sarili natin and to desire to extend kindness sa mga taong nakapaligid sa'yo. Kahit na mahirap silang mahalin, kahit na minsan struggle yung mga kasama natin sa bahay, but start with yourself. Don't be critical about yourself. Marry imperfections. Sabi nga, the greatest love of all, it's not about the children. The greatest love of all, the greatest love of all, it's happening to me. Take a look at yourself. Take care of yourself as you would do for a baby, you would do for a child. Be aware of how you talk to yourself, be aware of your self-care needs, be aware of how you are being gentle with yourself. Because at the end of the day, you only have you. I would remind you, friends, one thing to cope, one way that I believe we should know how to cope. One, sabi ko nga, set boundaries. Second, it's choosing where naming our feelings. The third, choosing our energy. And fourth, compassion. So if there are words, boundaries, emotions, energy, compassion, magkakarugtong sila. Yung compassion, it's about yourself so that you can love more other people. You can help them more. You can be kind to yourself and then you can extend that to other people. Madali ba tong lahat? Hindi. But it starts in knowing your boundaries. And it starts with recognizing that nobody can help you cope. I will repeat that. The pinaka-brutal fact that I can share with you, no one can save you but yourself. Your family needs you, but you need to put extra effort to cope well. Kasi we adults, too many things are asked from us by children, by our partners, from our extended family. So, asikasuhin natin yung sarili natin, alagaan natin yung sarili natin. We need to have that compassion for ourselves so that we can cope well. Coping skills, it's not about other people, it's about us. So we can have more to give them. I hope that you've learned something. I hope that you've learned to cope well, and to thrive despite the crisis. And that's our session for coffee break this morning. And please put there, what is it that I need to do better to cope? Can you put there in your comment section, what can I do? How can I help? I can help myself to cope better by, I want you to come out better, not bitter. So please put that in a comment section. I want to cope better by, so what will you do? Please complete the sentence. Bago tayo maghiwalay, complete the sentence. I will help myself to cope better by, complete the sentence. That's about coping. And that's what I can share with you with Coffee Break this morning. I will see you next week. But friends, last announcement. Remember my Martha's Pause Renewed and Resilience? We are closing we have so many registrants. We are closing the registration by Sunday. All of you who registered already and fully registered and completed your payment, please, we are ending the registration on Sunday, and I hope that your slot, your seat can be reserved. So please join us. It's very I'll tell you now the price. It's an exclusive 3-hour session for only 550. Wag niyong kuriputan yung sarili niyo because I'm telling you, this is something that can help us grow. It's Martha's Pause Renewed and Resilient. It's an online workshop that I will personally conduct on September 12th. So I am enjoining you to come and join me for that exclusive morning, Saturday morning. It's our time for ourselves. So please join me. And if you see the words that's coming out in my Facebook page, those are the words that I need you to reflect on to be able to help ourselves better in preparation for Martha's Pause. So I hope you join me. We're closing the registration on Sunday, September, what Sunday? Sunday is September 6th. So please come, join, and make sure that one seat is yours. Thank you, and thank you again, friends, for joining me for Coffee Break. I'll see you again next Tuesday for another session of Coffee Break. Thank you, and God bless you all.